Hello and welcome to FM Review. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson. And in today's video, I'll be going over the Casio G-Shock model GA-110MB. This is from the Military Black series, and it's part of the Classic Collection by Casio. This model came out in 2015, and the module is 5146. This watch can be bought for $100 to $120. There are several color options for this watch, being red, gray, and turquoise with black highlights, and solid orange, solid purple, and solid black as the one in this video. The case diameter for this watch is 5.1 centimeters. The case thickness is 16.9 millimeters. The band width is 30 millimeters, and the weight is 2.56 ounces. This watch has quartz movement, a round dial, a mineral dial window, a perpetual calendar, a chronograph, an analog digital display, and it comes with a 2-year battery, and the battery model is CR1220. And you can see that this does have a predominantly black color, being the bezel, case, band, and the dial with the faceplate. You do have your digital display of the day of the week, the time, and the seconds. You also have your analog time with the hours and minutes. You can see that this does have a smaller subdial that has some red highlights. And on the front of it, you can see that this does have the Casio water resistant 20 bar indicator. This watch does have 4 buttons, which are adjust, mode, forward, and reverse. And here is a closer look at the watch, and you can really see what they mean by military black, because you have a black band, a black bezel, a black case, and for the most part a black faceplate. On the faceplate you do have the white hands, and you do have a little bit of red highlight for your chronograph subdial. Now as I take this watch closer, you can see that the digital time starts to be a little bit clearer and easier to read. But when you take the watch back a little bit, in my opinion or my experience, that kind of bleeds out and it makes it a little bit harder to read. So I'm kind of on the fence by saying this is a large, easy to read faceplate. It is, however, a large faceplate, and it does have a lot of awesome information and dials that I really like about a watch. Now as I move this watch, you can see that it does have a little bit of a reflective window on it. And also from different angles you can see that reading this watch is a little bit easier, and that's why I haven't really ruled this out as being hard to read, because you can see that the digital time shows up at different angles. Speaking of angles, if you hold this watch parallel to the ground and you roll it up 30 to 40 degrees, you can activate the auto illumination feature, and you see that it does have an amber LED that illuminates the faceplate. This is one of the features that you can enable or disable, and you can have it to be on for 1 to 3 seconds. This is a handy feature if you're working outside at nighttime. You don't have to press a button, you can just rotate your wrist and activate that feature. As for my opinion of this watch, it's very rugged and tough. It's sturdy and has a good solid build quality. It absorbs bumps, drops, and scratches, and it doesn't leave many marks or any nicks on it. This is a good solid reinforced weight on my wrist, and it has a comfortable feel. This does have a surprisingly soft band, and I think that's partially due to having the 2 holes in the band. You do have the dual buckle clasp, and I believe that's one of the reasons why the band feels so soft and comfortable. On there you do have the brushed stainless steel on the buckle, and it does say G-Shock. This is a resin band, and it does have the dull finish that does not collect fingerprints, dust, or trash. So it's really good. It goes along with that military ruggedness. On the back you do have a stainless steel back cover, and it tells you the model number, G-Shock, and a little bit of the information about that. Along the side you do have 4 recessed buttons, 2 on each side, and each one of these buttons does have a easy to grip texture on the outside. And I think that's partially due because the buttons themselves are recessed, and the reason they're recessed is to eliminate you bumping one of the buttons and changing a setting. And you can see a little bit on the side here how they're recessed. It's not something that if you're in the middle of doing something you bump it and you change that. They are recessed, and you do have that textured grip. And I'll just rub my fingernail over that and give you a little sound of what that's like. So even though it's recessed, it is easy to press. And you notice that it doesn't have an actual light button, but any time that you have the time setting mode, if you press the top button here, that will turn it on or activate your backlight. And I'd like to go over some of the information displayed on this watch's faceplate. One thing I have noticed with this watch, as well as other watches that have analog and digital faceplates, you are sharing the faceplate with the hands as well as the digital information that is viewed. So it's natural for the hands to block or obscure some of the information. And the same thing can be said about this watch. The very top portion of this watch, it displays the day of the week, and it's a little bit hard to see because of the hour hands. A little bit further down you do see that you have the digital time displayed, and it will let you know that the auto light indicator is on. It'll let you know the AM or PM status, and it gives you the seconds countdown timer. Now you do see that the white hands are easy to read, and they do dominate the screen depending on what position they are in. Now you can toggle between the time and the date by pressing the forward button or the lower right button. And you can see if you press that, it gives you the month and the day. And you can go back to the timekeeping mode by pressing that, and it goes back to whatever the time it is. And now I will go over the modes of this watch, and you can see some of the features that this watch includes and a little bit of the animation that's on the faceplate. And you'll notice in this area at the top right here that you'll have a little bit of an animation, and you will have an abbreviation indicator of what mode that you're in, and then you'll have whatever the mode is that you're using your units of measurement in this area right here. I do apologize if this is kind of hard to read because it's showing one of the downsides of this watch. It does have a highly reflective display, and at certain light angles the negative display washes out. But in order to activate any of the modes, you press the lower left mode button. And the first mode you come to is the stopwatch. And with the stopwatch you do have a 1/1000th second stopwatch, and you do see where the measuring capacity is. For the measuring modes you do have elapsed time, lap time, and split time. And if you press the mode button a second time, you are taken to the next mode, which is the timer. And for your countdown timer, your measuring unit is 1 second, and your countdown range is 24 hours. And you do have the countdown start time range from 1 minute to 24 hours. And this also has an auto repeat feature. And pressing the mode button a third time will take you to the world time feature. And for the world time feature you have 29 time zones, which includes 48 cities and the universal time constant. You do have city code display, daylight savings on and off. You have your home city or world time city swapping. And here is the world time information with the city and the code table. PPG is Pago Pago, HNL Honolulu, ANC Anchorage, YVR Vancouver, LAX Los Angeles, YEA Edmonton, DEN Denver, MEX Mexico City, CHI Chicago, MIA Miami, YTO Toronto, NYC New York, SCL Santiago, YHZ Halifax, YYT St. John's, RIO Rio de Janeiro, RIA Praia, UTC Universal Time Constant, LIS Lisbon, LON London, MAD Madrid, PAR Paris, ROM Rome, BER Berlin, STO Stockholm, ATH Athens, CAI Cairo, JRS Jerusalem, MOW Moscow, JED Jeddah, THR Tehran, DXB Dubai, KBL Kabul, KHI Karachi, DEL Delhi, DAC Dhaka, RGN Yangon, BKK Bangkok, SIN Singapore, HKG Hong Kong, BJS Beijing, TPE Taipei, SEL Seoul, TYO Tokyo, ADL Adelaide, GUM Guam, SYD Sydney, NOU Noumea, WLG Wellington. And the next mode is the alarm mode. And in the alarm mode you do have a total of 5 daily alarms with 1 snooze alarm. And you can see that this one was set for 12, but it is set to be off. And pressing the mode button again takes you back to your home screen where you have your timekeeping settings. Alright, and here are the instructions on adjusting the time. You can adjust the home, time, city, date, and time in the timekeeping mode. And this is timekeeping because you have your time down here and you have your day of the week. So this screen, which is your normal home screen, is the timekeeping mode. The analog time of this watch is synchronized with the digital time. The analog time setting is adjusted automatically whenever you change the digital time. To set the digital time and date in timekeeping mode, again this is timekeeping mode because you have your time and your day of the week. Hold down A for about 3 seconds until the current selected city code flashes in the upper digital display. This is time setting mode. And what they're saying is hold down the A button, which is your adjust button right here, for 3 seconds, and you should see that this little area right here starts to blink. And so let's hold down that for 3 seconds. And you can see that it's blinking, and you can see it changed from day of the week to whatever your home city time code was. Mine is set to Chicago because that's the closest area on the list that's to Mississippi. And now it says use the D button, which is east, and the B button west to select city codes you want. I already have what I wanted, but they're saying you can use these 2 buttons on the side to select east or west in whatever direction your city is. And it's saying that it's important to make sure you select your home city code before changing any other settings. And so this is why it's important to change this first before you change the actual hours and minutes. And so once you have selected whatever city code you want, you can press the mode button or the lower left button, and you have your daylight savings time option, and you can turn that off, which is what I have currently set right here, or you can turn it on by selecting either of these side buttons. Once you have that set to where you want to, go ahead and press the mode button again, and that gives you your 12 or 24 hour option. Once you have that information set the way that you want, press the mode button again, and you'll notice that your seconds are displayed, or you'll notice that your seconds are highlighted and they're blinking there. And you can always adjust any of these forward or backward with the forward or reverse button. which is real convenient for setting the time. Again, if you wanted to move on to the next option, you just press the mode button and you can adjust your hour, and you can see that the hour is blinking. Once you've adjusted your hour, you can select the mode button and change your minutes. And again, each one of these can be adjusted by the forward or reverse buttons. Once you've done your minutes, you can select the mode button and you can check or you can adjust the year. This is 2015, and I've already preset this watch, but I'm going through the steps to show you how to do it. Press the mode button and you're going to go to the month, and then press the mode button again and you have the day of the week. And after you finish setting that, you press the mode button again and you're taken to your backlight adjustment time. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's telling you L, T, and 3 is blinking in the top area up here. 3 is the longest length of time your backlight will be on, which is 3 seconds. And you can adjust that forward or backwards by pressing the buttons on the right side, either forward or reverse. But LT stands for your backlight, and you have LT1, which is for 1 second, LT2 is a second and a half, and LT3 is the full 3 seconds. And once you're finished with all of that, you just go ahead and press your mode button, and you're back at the home screen where you're selecting your city and your time, and then you just go ahead and press the top button to get out of it. And now whatever time you change will be reflected with the display, the digital display, and the hour and minute hands. This watch comes with a mineral glass. It is magnetic resistant, shock resistant, and 200-meter water resistant. This watch has a resin case, bezel, and band. It also has an LED light, and the light features an auto light switch with the selectable illumination duration from 1 second to 3 seconds. It also has the afterglow light feature. The watch has a world time function, and that includes 29 time zones, and in that you have 48 cities plus the universal time constant. You also have a city code display, a daylight savings on or off option. You have the home city or world time city swapping. For your chronograph, you do have a countdown timer. You also have a 1/1000th of a second stopwatch, and the measuring capacity of that is 99.59. The measuring modes for the stopwatch are elapsed time, lap time, and split time. And getting back to your countdown timer, your measuring unit is 1 second, and your countdown range is 24 hours. You also have an auto repeat feature with your countdown timer. This watch does have 5 daily alarms with 1 snooze alarm. You can also have an hourly time signal with this watch. It does have a full auto calendar to the year 2099. This watch comes with a 12 or 24-hour format display. And for regular timekeeping, you do have the analog option, which includes the 2 hands for the hour and minutes. You also have the digital option, which includes hours, minutes, second, AM or PM, month, date, and day. And this watch does have a 2-year battery, and the model is CR1220. And here is a comparison of 2 G-Shocks, one being the GA-110 and the other one is my G-Lide 7900, and you can see that the 1110 has a much larger faceplate. And I have these at an off angle so you can see that the negative display can be seen on both of them, but I do feel that the 1110 has a smaller, possibly harder to read digital display than the 7900. And here is a straightforward view of both watches side by side, and you can see that both of them have a reflective faceplate, but the one on the right side has a little bit harder to read faceplate. And I'm not knocking this watch by any means because it's great, but I do want you to be aware of some of the downsides to having a negative faceplate watch. And this model in particular, since there's a lot of information on the screen and you are sharing the digital display with the analog display. And here is a side-by-side watch comparison with the GA-110 and several watches that I have in my watch collection. You have the past new, the Armatron, the second G-Shock, and you have the Timex on the right side. And this will give you an idea of how big this faceplate is. And here is a look at the watch on my wrist so you can see what size the faceplate is compared to your wrist. And you may be able to tell that it's easy to read from this angle, and then different angles as you move it may be a little bit more difficult to read. And then you can also see the auto illuminating feature activate, as well as some of the reflective glare that comes with this watch. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to keep more FM reviews coming your way.
3, 2, 1, action!
When I raise this from a 30-degree angle, that's the problem. I don't have anything rehearsed to say about this watch. Alright, here we go.